This transmission documents the ongoing containment crisis involving the entity designated to heads, a parasitic organism exhibiting unprecedented cellular assimilation capabilities. Initial contact occurred during routine biological survey operations in Sector 7 Delta, where our research team encountered what appeared to be a standard biological anomaly. The classification was updated to catastrophic threat level within 47 minutes of first observation. The entity presents as a bipedal organism standing approximately 2.1 meters in height, distinguished by dual cranial appendages that serve as its primary feeding mechanism. These appendages demonstrate remarkable adaptability, extending and contracting based on proximity to organic matter. What makes two heads particularly dangerous is its method of sustenance. Upon contact with living tissue, the entity initiates an immediate cellular breakdown process that completely destroys the host organism's biological integrity while simultaneously absorbing the resulting biomass. Dr. Martinez was the first to witness this process during the initial encounter. Her field notes, recovered from her personal recording device, describe the entity's approach as methodical rather than frenzied. The creature moved with deliberate precision, using enhanced olfactory capabilities to track living organisms within a 50-meter radius. When it made contact with one of our field mice during preliminary testing, the breakdown sequence completed in exactly 34 seconds. The mouse's cellular structure underwent complete dissolution, with the organic matter being absorbed directly through the entity's appendages. Most disturbing was the apparent increase in the entity's mass following this absorption, suggesting that two heads grow stronger with each feeding. Environmental observations indicate that the entity generates several warning signs before direct contact occurs. Electronic equipment within proximity experiences significant interference. Medical monitoring devices fail to function properly, and the ambient temperature drops consistently between 3 and 7 degrees Celsius. Personnel also report low-frequency resonance patterns that seem to emanate from the entity itself, though the purpose of these vocalizations remains unclear. Our containment strategy developed through trial and observation, with several team members making critical sacrifices to establish effective protocols. The entity demonstrates marked vulnerability to extreme cold, showing decreased mobility when environmental temperatures drop below -15 degrees Celsius. Industrial cooling systems deployed around the containment perimeter have proven essential in limiting the creature's movement range. Additionally, concentrated sodium chloride appears to create an effective barrier, with the entity exhibiting clear avoidance behavior when encountering high salinity environments. The primary containment chamber measures 15 meters in all horizontal dimensions with an 8-meter ceiling height. Constructed from reinforced titanium alloy materials capable of withstanding significant physical stress, temperature maintenance at -20 degrees Celsius requires constant monitoring, as any fluctuation above -10 degrees results in increased entity activity. Atmospheric pressure reduction to 0.7 standard atmosphere provides additional movement restriction, though the entity continues to adapt to these conditions with concerning efficiency. Secondary containment measures include a continuous 50,000-volt electromagnetic perimeter that surrounds the primary chamber. A 2-meter-wide crystalline salt moat requires replenishment every 72 hours due to gradual degradation from environmental factors. Motion-activated cryogenic spray systems provide immediate response capability should containment protocols fail, while hardened surveillance equipment allows remote monitoring without risking personnel exposure. Personnel safety requirements mandate leveler hazmat suits with independent air supply systems, thermal regulation, clothing rated to -40 degrees Celsius, and emergency beacon transmitters for constant location tracking. Each team member carries concentrated saline solution dispensers as emergency countermeasures. Direct visual contact with the entity is limited to 30-second intervals, as prolonged observation appears to trigger heightened aggressive responses from two heads. The most disturbing aspect of this containment situation involves the entity's demonstrated learning capacity. Research observations over the past 94 days reveal continuous adaptation to our containment measures. The creature's resistance to low-temperature environments has increased substantially, requiring frequent adjustments to our environmental controls. More concerning is the entity's apparent understanding of our containment protocols, as it has begun testing different sections of the barriers with systematic precision. Recent incident logs document vocalizations during feeding periods that suggest complex communication patterns. indicating intelligence levels far exceeding initial assessments. Cellular samples recovered from absorption sites show complete DNA restructuring within absorbed tissue, with molecular signatures that do not match any known terrestrial organisms. The implications of these findings have prompted consultation with departments beyond our normal operational scope. Medical response protocols for exposure incidents require immediate amputation of affected tissue areas, as cellular degradation spreads rapidly from initial contact points. High concentration saline irrigation has proven effective in halting the breakdown process if administered within the first 12 seconds of exposure. Hypothermic treatment protocols and minimum 96-hour quarantine periods are mandatory for all exposure cases, with continuous monitoring for cellular regeneration abnormalities. The entity's feeding requirements appear to specifically target living cellular activity, as deceased organic matter generates heightened agitation rather than feeding responses. This discovery has led to the development of emergency protocols involving the immediate evacuation of all organic matter within a 5-minute window should containment breach occur. Backup cooling systems activate independently of primary controls, and external communication systems are set automatically to prevent potential contamination spread. Current containment status remains stable but requires constant vigilance. The entity's adaptive capabilities suggest that our current measures may have limited long-term effectiveness. Research continues into alternative containment strategies, though the risk to personnel makes direct experimentation extremely hazardous. All personnel assigned to 2 heads containment undergo daily medical screening and maintain restricted access to other facility operations. This documentation serves as both operational manual and warning system for future personnel assignments. The entity designated 2 heads represents an unprecedented threat to biological integrity, and containment protocols must be maintained without deviation. Any variation from established procedures could result in facility-wide contamination and complete loss of containment capability.